Gary, are we looking at currency wars, or have they actually never left?
Yeah, I think we're somewhat we're in currency wars.
And we've always been in it. Who's going to
win? I don't know if we've always been in.
Last 5 years?
But, yeah, 5 years. I don't know if it's 5 years, but, you know, look, the Abe recently, you know, when Abe got involved in Japan and did a conscientious devaluation of the yen, it clearly put the Europeans in a position where euro-yen, you know, the Europeans looking at their exportability versus the Japanese exportability, put enormous pressure on the euro. And I think you look at those two pairs and the combination, and if you look at that pair, you know, euro had to devalue at some point. Now you're seeing euro devalue and yen holding. Interesting how the Japanese are going to follow up at this point. And lo and behold, and I said this before, we've got the United States just sitting there watching and being the one currency that's rallying because everyone else is trying to devalue. You know, thank you for the Swiss. They decided to join the currencies that would rally. So we're happy to have them on that side of the ledger. But it does feel that, you know, we're in a global economy. And I don't disagree with this, that, you know, the prevailing view is one of the easier ways to stimulate economic growth is to have a low currency to export against and hopefully create tourism and imports with. And, you know, makes sense.
Well, currency wars, I mean, the euro-dollar, and I'm sure somebody on the panel can help me on this, but the PPP, the purchasing power parity for the euro-dollar is around 115, 116. So we're actually at the correct macroeconomic level. So the problem is not where we are today. The problem is where we've been over the last couple of years because of QE in the US and effectively tightening in Europe by the numbers I gave you before, because not just QE didn't happen, but because of the lending being constrained, and rightly so, because we needed to deleverage. So I think we're now, and usually currencies don't stay at their sort of theoretical level, so it could go further, right? But right now we're at probably the right place. So you know, I think that is an important fact to bear in mind as we set policy, I mean, as governments set policy. Would you agree that's the number? Or?
I would agree that, taking Japan aside, because there was a determined policy move on various fronts 2 years ago, which had a clear influence on currencies. And I'm not sure that the currency itself was the purpose of the 3 arrows Abenomics determined policy. But taking Japan aside, yes, I would agree with Anna that there is an alignment with the key characteristics of some of those economies. And if you look at, you know, the growth current rate, the growth potential, it's not out of line